The day before is finally here, guys. We're just a couple hours away from the release. I want to make sure you guys are ready to work your way into Woodbury. So we're going to put together a beginner's guide to get you guys up to date to everything you need to know about the game, what to expect, what to look forward to, and what you might not know that's going to be available in the game. So with that being said, let's get started with one of the main questions I get asked a lot. Is the game going to be coming to console? The answer to that is yes, but not right now. So if you guys plan on playing the game, you won't be able to play this game on console just yet. It says that it's going to be for a further date, maybe 2024. But if you do have a PC, you will be able to play the game right now on December the 7th. It's a pivotal point, December the 7th, because this actually makes the game believable after so much rumors, so much speculation. It is finally here. Now, one thing to note, guys, there are a couple elements here that you might not be aware of that you definitely need to know. The game does feature a trait system, which is kind of similar to a skill tree that works very similar to other zombie games that we played. If you want a more in-depth review or overview of this trait system, I highly recommend you check it out in our channel. We made a video regarding that. But it is a nice trait system that gives you some bonuses, and it also gives you some negatives, and you got to decide which ones are the best. Now, apart from that, let's talk about one of the most important things about the game, and that is the ability of having a vest. Because a lot of people are questioning, what does this vest do? If I pick up the vest, what type of protection does it provide? And does it provide any sort of protection at all? Now, the only protection that the vest is going to give you is protection from shots from pistols. If you get shot from anything else that's not a pistol, the vest will not protect you. So it's really important that you understand this, because if you're looking for a vest, it's really important that you understand what it's going to be protecting you from, as sometimes you might die and be like, how did I die? Like, what happened? How did that happen? Well, now you know exactly what is entailed. Now, another thing to note, guys, the weapon. So a lot of people were speculating that there was going to be weapon rarity in the game, and there is not going to be any weapon rarity. So don't expect anything like a legendary, a epic, a common weapon. No, you're going to be looking at normal weapons and real life scenario weapons. So when you pick them up, it's going to be a real weapon. Now, apart from that, you will be able to customize your weapon with magazines, with muscles, and all that good stuff, but the weapon does not come in different rarities, so it's just a matter of finding the weapon, fine-tuning it, and making it adaptable to your playstyle, which is something I definitely like. This doesn't give you the whole thing where like you're fighting someone with a common and then you come up with a legendary that you just instantly melt them, all right? That's actually pretty good. Now, part of that, you're going to be given an option to have a camp. Now, this particular camp that you will be able to have an option to, it's going to be your base, not your base of operation, but it's going to be your own personal base where up to 4 players are able to go into the base. The good thing about this base is you will not be getting attacked in this base, and you are able to customize your base. A lot of people like to call it a camp, a cabin, or whatever you want to call it, but it's your own personal base where you could go in there and not worry about getting killed by zombies or getting killed by other players. There's a base where you can just go, customize it to your heart's content, add a radio, add a rug, add some sofas, and you will be able to upgrade this base as you progress throughout the game. So it's something really cool. Now, the only thing we don't know in concrete is if this base is always going to be active when you spawn in, or do you need to recreate this base every time you log in? Now, apart from that, guys, there is a base of operation, and as you guys have seen in the trailers, this base of operation gives you a really good advantage of kind of doing everything that you need to do in order to better your character. There's going to be NPCs, there's going to be missions that you're going to be able to obtain, and there's also going to be a location where you could go in there and not get shot. So if you're roaming around the city and you can't make it to your particular base, your creative base or your camp, you can literally go to Woodbury, and in there you will be able to not only trade with NPCs, meet other players, but also have like a safe haven where you're not getting shot at all. So it's really cool. Now, one thing I'm pretty sure the majority of you guys are not aware of that I did want to bring you guys up to date is the fact that this particular Woodbury place is where you're going to have alliances. So you're going to be able to make an alliance with another team and other players. You're going to be able to trade. And like I said, you're going to be able to embark on quests. But the crazy thing about this is that it makes a community. And you're probably wondering, what do you mean? Well, you're going to be able to take on jobs that range from manual labor to becoming a writer or anything with artistic expressions that will allow you and help you survive throughout the game. So it's not just about living in the world, it's about thriving in the world as well, because as you guys get different professions, I would say, or different jobs within the community, you will be getting special benefits, and each job will have its own benefits. It's actually a pretty cool, interesting concept. And remember, this game is every world evolving, which means you can literally spend 24 hours in the game and not have to leave the game. You could literally just chill there and be completely cool. Now, one interesting thing about the game is if you actually have a lot of relaxation in the game, this is actually crucial for your survival. You're going to be able to unwind in a bar, you're going to be able to strike up conversations, or even hit the gym to maintain your game fitness. Now, these elements will enrich the experience, creating a vibrant life in the world. So, remember, it's not just about you going over there and killing zombies or you going over there and getting stuff. There's going to be a lot more world events happening within the game. Speaking of world events, they did come out and say that there are going to be seasonal events taking place in the game. Now, these seasonal events, they haven't released a specific seasonal event, but we're pretty much in Christmas. So I'm hoping we get a Christmas event, even though it's very soon. It would be nice to get some sort of Christmas event coming along, and it would be kind of cool if they make you go look for a Christmas tree to bring it into your camp. There's so many different ways you could portray this, so it's actually a very, very cool idea if you think about it. Now let's talk a little bit about the landscape of the game, because there are different areas in the game that are going to change the way you approach it. For example, we have the city, which has story towers, it has malls, it has stadiums, and all these stadiums are lootable, which makes a very interesting experience, because you could say, well, today I'm going to go to the mall. Today I'm going to go to the stadium. Today I'm going to visit this skyscraper. I'm actually going to loot it. Now, the interesting part about this is that there also are caped mountains, which you could easily go into and explore. There's also a forest area, and there's also a snowy area within the game. So theoretically speaking, there are multiple ways of approaching and playing the game. Well, you'll have a different play experience every time you log in and hop in and play. Another thing that you need to know, in the game, there is a thing called Perma Death. Now, if you guys are not familiar with this type of game style or this type of play, Perma Death is the option of you being able to go into the game, dying, and losing everything. Now, what we currently right now don't know, because we haven't gotten a chance to actually play the game, is we don't know if the permadeath is going to completely delete your character, because there is some permadeath like that. I personally think that that's not going to be the case. I just think you're just going to lose your loot, and you're just going to have to re-loot again and not have to create a new character, because there is character customization in this game. So I'm assuming that they're not going to want you to be deleting your character every single time and recreating it. I'm just thinking what's going to happen is you're going to create your character, and basically if you die, you pretty much lose your whole inventory. Now, I could be completely wrong, and it could just automatically delete your character, and you just gonna need to create another character. That's gonna be more interesting, because you really don't want to be deleting your character every single time. Now, with that being said, there are different modes in the game that are gonna keep this engaging. Number one mode, of course, there is PvP, in the sense of you being able to fight other players. So that's something you need to look at for. Number two, there are zombies. And number three, there are NPCs that are going to be roaming the streets while you're playing. Now, whether these NPCs are going to shoot you or whether these NPCs are going to attack you, we have yet to be determined. But there are certain NPCs that you might want to target for better loot. Now, what type of transportation will be available in the game? As of right now, we do know cars are going to be available in the game, but cars are a very tricky slope when it comes to this game, due to the fact that in order to repair a car or in order to refuel a car, you're going to need to get out of the car. So if you've ever played Call of Duty, whenever your car is going around it and it pops a tire, you have to get it out of the car and repair it. It's very similar to this game as well. And in addition to that, if you run out of fuel, you theoretically could have a gas can on you, but in order to refuel your car, you're going to have to get out of the car and refuel it. So that gives it a very interesting concept. And the way they said it is your car could be your best friend, but it also could be a trap, and a very deadly trap if you're not playing things accordingly. Now, the game will include ordinary cars, armored vehicles, and sports cars. Now, to give us a better understanding how these cars are going to play a pivotal role on the way we approach the game, they actually gave us a scenario that said, think of that you're running or moving along the streets, and as you're moving along the streets, you're trying to be like, okay, I'm going to loot the skyscraper. But as you're trying to head over to the skyscraper and cross the street, you see an armored vehicle, and you know that armored vehicle has other players. Now, here comes the choice. What do I do? Do I engage the armored vehicle, or do I hide inside a building and wait for that armored vehicle to disappear or leave? These are going to be the choices you're going to have to make, and actually quite pivotal choices to decide, because if you stay there, you're also going to have to deal with zombies. And speaking of zombies, zombies are divided in different rarities or realistic variants. There are the physical or the physics zombies. These zombies react to sound and rely on sight. And one interesting thing to note here is that if your backpack is completely full with items, those items will make noise. So do keep that in mind. It's something that they added into the game. Whatever your backpack has will make noise, and the more you have, the louder it gets, and the bigger chance there is that the zombie will be able to hear it, and you will actually be in contact with the zombie. Now, as to how many different zombie variants, or if there's going to be zombie bosses, we currently don't know right now. But from what we've been told, there are 3 different variants that we've been able to see within the trailers regarding the zombies. Now, you'll be able to dive into the world of the day before with up to 4 players, or you could play this as a solo, a duel. It doesn't really matter how you want to experience the game, but you're capped at to 4 different players. Now, if you go in solo, I'm going to be going in solo, so it's going to be very interesting to see how well we survive and what actually happens if we die or we don't die. So make sure you guys are ready for this ultimate experience. Now, one thing to note that I've been seeing a lot of questions being asked if there is controller support. Currently, right now, I don't have the answer to that because I haven't been able to play the game. But if there isn't no controller support, I will have a video on how you could set up your controller to play the game in case you are not used to a mouse and keyboard. So as we stand here in the cusp of the day before being released, skepticism and excitement kind of collide together. And the question is, will it live up to the promise, or will it falter under the weight of so much ambition? You're going to have to stay tuned as we dive into the world, offering you guys unfiltered gameplay and insight on what is the best way to play the day before, what are the best weapons, what is the best approach. So make sure you guys keep it locked on this channel. And don't forget, for all things the day before, keep it locked here, and I will talk to you guys later.